Hoy hoy, everyone. Welcome back to Fantasyland News. Thanks for joining me here today. These chickens are really getting on my nerves. Like, imagine having a bunch of those around your desk today, and now they're like kind of just in the way. So now I got to figure out how to get rid of a chicken. Apparently, if I hold him by his head, boy, that's if that isn't obnoxious. Welcome to Fantasyland News today, where I'm just going crazy and talking to chickens and hanging out. Oh, what happens if we do them both at the same time? Welcome to my household, everybody. Chaos just erupts every once in a while. I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of a chicken. I'm going to get rid of a second chicken. There we go. Okay. No more chickens. My apologies. That is the worst way of starting a video ever. Hey, welcome to Fantasyland News, where you just hear chickens crowing, clucking, cawing, whatever chickens do. Anyway, lots to go over this week. I really wanted to come on here and talk about Genie Plus, the changes to Genie Plus, which is now Lightning Lane Multipass, and Lightning Lane is now Lightning Lane Single Pass. We're going to talk about that. A few other things have hit the news recently that I wanted to talk about. In the last video, if you go back, I think it's going to be like right here. Hopefully my hand is lined up perfectly right there. But Christmas had just come out, so we talked all about that in the last video. Go back and watch that. I do want to discuss a little bit about, again, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, and a little bit more about the dash situation. I am not going to get on my soapbox this week. I'm just here to hang out and talk to everybody. News, obviously, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened up here at the Magic Kingdom. That's the big news. Glasses. I got glasses also. Yeah, I scratched my cornea with my contacts, so the doctor made me wear glasses. And hey, they match the hair, so there's something there. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll get into the news in a second. Starting next week, I just want everybody to know I'm going to be starting doing the weekly news roundup, but also interviews with media personalities that work around Disney. We're going to hopefully get some chefs on, some people from Disney Springs. I have a whole bunch lined up, but we're going to start off with media figures who have covered Disney for years and the people I have either idolized or worked next to for many years when I worked for another company. But I had to start Fantasyland News for myself. So Fantasyland News is my own and my wife's media company, basically, with the news, the website, Instagram, YouTube, all the socials, everything. We got a podcast called The Live Podcast Show. You can go watch that over on almost anywhere you get podcasts from, on Apple, Amazon. The Live Podcast Show, that is done with Scott and Michelle. Scott is my co-host. Michelle is from the Main Street Mouse. She comes on and does a Disney segment every day. But we're going to be starting not a podcast, but more of a vodcast. It's going to be a video podcast, obviously, where I interview certain people. So stick around next week. That'll be coming out on Sundays. I hope. It'll be somewhere between Sunday and Monday. Anyway, let's get into the news. Let's get into this, because I know you guys don't want to hear me ramble or pull out the chickens again, because that'll just kill us. Tiana's Bayou Adventure opened up on June 28th. The ride and attraction has been down since last January, January 2023. Finally opened up June 28th. We've already done ride videos. We've done queue videos. We've discussed the making of it. We've talked to Charquita. We've talked to Walt Disney Imagineering. We have done everything we could possibly do to tell you how good Tiana's Bayou Adventure is. We also got to see lots of breakdowns, a lot of issues during the cast previews. But when we've ridden it, we have had no issues whatsoever. On opening day, here's what I want to talk about and let you guys know. Opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure ran smoothly. Until the rain came. So the ride itself worked perfectly all day. Then the rain came and they shut it down because of rain and lightning and thunder, which is this time of year at Florida. That just happens after 3 p.m. It could happen at any day, any time after 3 p.m. in Florida. Lightning, thunder, be prepared. The next day did not open very well. It took many hours for the ride to actually resume operation. Whoa, and then today, which is Sunday when I'm recording this, I've already seen, I had a few friends who had to be Reedy Creek Fire Department or Central Florida Tourism Oversight Department of Doom, whatever that's called, the fire department had to come in and escort guests off the ride. They were trapped in where there was no walkway in the water area. And so that happened at Tiana's. So Tiana's was great. Tiana's is down. Hopefully Disney's going to figure this out, but I'm not going to trash it. I love the ride. Speaking of the ride, the beignets came out over there at Golden Outpost. I think it's $6.99. You get 3 beignets. Those things drizzled with a little bit of honey, some powdered sugar on top. Honestly, they're excellent. They're really good. They taste more like an original beignet than what they serve over at French Quarter. And French Quarter, don't get me wrong, those things are amazing. They're more like a donut, though. These were like real beignets that you would find in New Orleans. A little crispy outside, that big hole in the middle that you could stuff it with if they wanted to. They're good. So Golden Outpost, that's all ready. The merchandise, all the merchandise came out in the merchandise lines. That all happened on June 28th. Oh, what else happened? We got news that Rock and Roller Coaster, which has been down since January, Rock and Roller Coaster, the opening date has been moved up to July 1st. So tomorrow, if you're watching this today, it's Sunday, get in that reservation. Go tomorrow. Hollywood Studios, Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be reopened. No clue what they've done yet over there. We've had no official word from Disney on this, but Rock and Roller Coaster is reopened. Probably by the time you're watching this, you can go over there and ride anytime you want. And I bet you that goes smooth. So we'll see what happens over there. Back to Tiana's real quick. Disney released this really cool thing about Laurie. I want to say Laurie, L-A-R-I, the armadillo. Go read that if you can over at Fantasyland News. It's a really cool article. I kind of connect with Laurie because, first off, he gave me a really cool reel that I put up because if you watch his eyes, it does that old school inset eye thing where it looks like it's following you no matter where you go. So the eyes always stay in position. I'm doing a horrible job. That is my mimicry of it. Anyway, Laurie the Armadillo, he borrows things and then he returns them. But he is part of the storyline of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. My man's just a glorified roadie. I have toured with bands for many, many years, not as a roadie, but as an audio, and I guess I was a roadie. I mean, I was a tour manager also, and an audio engineer. I'm actually a trained audio engineer doing all this. Worked with bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, bands in the Country Music Hall of Fame, some pretty big bands I've worked with. Laurie, my friend, is a glorified roadie. So it made me even happier that Laurie had a backstory. So good job, Disney, on that. Universal Studios, let's pop over there. Halloween Horror Nights, 31, 32, 33, 30. Halloween Horror Nights is coming back this year. They released a new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire will be the newest house that's going to be happening over at Universal Orlando at Universal Studios when Halloween Horror Nights starts up this year. Halloween Horror Nights looks amazing. Epic Universe. Though that park, again, looks amazing. We're going to be doing a deep dive onto Epic soon. It's just taking me a little while to get all the information to bring to you guys. So bear with me while I get together my Universal stuff because there's a lot in there. Rides going up, rides going down. We talked about Rock and Roller Coaster is coming back. Peter Pan's Flight actually is going to be closing at Magic Kingdom starting July 8th for about a 6-week renovation. So it'll reopen, I do believe, like towards the end of August. August 21st is what I think it is. So July 8th to August 21st, Peter Pan's Flight will be closed to Magic Kingdom. July 4th. Happy July 4th weekend, everybody, because I know you're probably watching this either on July 1st, which tomorrow, when you're watching this, I will be over at SeaWorld riding the brand new Penguin Trek roller coaster. We were invited out by them. I love SeaWorld. And we're going to bring you a whole video about Penguin Trek. We're going to do the on-ride point of view where they face the camera at you while you're riding it the first time. So tomorrow, that'll be out probably Tuesday. Anyway, July 4th weekend, they released all the food and treats and snacks you can get. They also talked about the fireworks. They are going to be doing Epcot, and they're also going to be at Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom is such a spectacular event if you're over there for the fireworks. All right. Here's what I wanted to get into. Plus, Lightning Lane multipass, Lightning Lane single pass. What is going on with all this? Disney has changed a whole lot about this. On July 24th, Walt Disney World introduced a new, what they call simpler names to provide and clarity basically for everyone. They've listened to feedback and people apparently were confused by Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. That's what they're saying. So, Genie Plus now becomes Lightning Lane Multipass, and Lightning Lane now becomes Lightning Lane Single Pass. You can now make Lightning Lane plans before you arrive, and you can now buy Lightning Lane Multipass before you can arrive, and you can now buy them at the same time, so you can plan out your whole vacation starting 7 days prior to your stay here at Walt Disney World. If you are a Walt Disney World guest, Walt Disney World Resort guest, staying at any of the Walt Disney World resorts or the Walt Disney World Swan, Dolphin, Shades of Green, 7 days in advance, you can now purchase this for the whole stay that you are here. So you can buy Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass for your whole stay. If you are a non-guest, you may do it 3 days before your reservation here at the park. So if you are just going to a park day, you have 3 days in advance. If you're a resort guest, you have 7 days in advance. Here's what's going to happen. When you purchase Lightning Lane Multipass, you can make up to 3 Lightning Lane selections in the theme park of your choice. So you get an E attraction, which is a tier, and that's what this is coming down to. It's going to be tier levels. So you get tier 1 will be stuff like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Fuck. All right, here's what I want to talk to you really about today is Genie Plus, Lightning Lane Multipass, Lightning Lane Single Pass. What is going on with all this and how can you explain it better? Simple as this. Genie Plus and the original Lightning Lane are now called Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass. They can now be booked starting July 24th, 2024. Numbers to remember are 7 and 3. 7 is 7 days prior to your resort stay, and you must be staying at a Walt Disney World resort, Walt Disney World Swan, Walt Disney World Dolphin, Shades of Green. They are all part of this. So 7 days in advance, if you are a resort guest, you may purchase Lightning Lane Multipass or Lightning Lane Single Pass. You may purchase them both at the same time for the stay. For your whole stay, you can do that. If you are not a guest and you are just coming to the theme parks, you get 3 days. So 3 days in advance, you can Lightning Lane Multipass, Lightning Lane Single Pass. There is now, when you purchase Multipass, you get up to 3 Lightning Lane selections. And here's the important part. You can choose 1 from Group A and 2 from Group B, or 1 from Group Tier 1 or 2. Let's go with tiers. So what could you book on Tier 1 if you bought Lightning Lane Multipass? It would be something for Big Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan Flight, Space Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Tier 2 would be something like Barnstormer, Haunted Mansion, Small World, Mad Tea Party, Magic Carpet Rides, Mickey's Philharmonic, Monsters, Ink Lab Floor, Pirates, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Under the Sea. For Epcot, it's Frozen Ever After is your Tier 1, Remy's Ratatouille, and Soarin' Around the World. Group B, obviously, is going to be like Figment or Living with the Land, Mission Space, The Seas, Spaceship Earth, Turtle Talk. Over at Hollywood Studios, your Tier 1 is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster, which we talked about is reopening tomorrow, and then Slinky Dog Dash. Those are all your top tier ones. Followed by Group B is Alien, Swirling Saucers, not easy for me to say it all. Beauty and the Beast, Disney Junior Dance and Play, Frozen, a Sing-Along, Indiana Jones, Muppets Vision 3D, Star Tours, Twilight Zone, Tower Terror, Toy Story Mania. I'm actually impressed. Like, Tower Terror's in Tier 2 on that one. Over at Animal Kingdom, there is no tier list. So everything is going to be available as part of this. What is this? What is Lightning Lane Single Pass? What is Lightning Lane Multipass? I just explained. Lightning Lane Multipass is like Genie Plus, where 7 days prior to your stay, you can book. Basically, Genie Plus or Lightning Lane Multipass, you get to make 3 selections at that time, 1 from Tier 1, 2 from Tier 2, 7 a.m. in the morning, 7 days out, you can book that. 3 days out if you are not staying at the resort. Lightning Lane Single Pass is going to work exactly how it works now. Instead of it being called just Lightning Lane, it is now Lightning Lane Single Pass. So if you want to purchase Guardians of the Galaxy, Tron, I think I may be missing something. Avatar, Flight of Passage might be part of Lightning Lane. I have to double check that one. I could be wrong, but I definitely know. Tron, Rise of the Resistance. You can now purchase those Lightning Lanes for those rides if you want. We'll see what else is included in purchasing Lightning Lanes. That's where you purchase basically a slot to ride that day. One of the cool things about this, though, is you're going to be able to see what times and what rides are available at what time before and prior to you actually check out. So there's that. Lightning Lane Multipass, Lightning Lane Single Pass. I haven't done a great job of selling this to you. I apologize. Comes out July 24th. We're going to figure it all out. I didn't want to go through the whole history of Genie Plus with you today because that would just drive me nuts. But for my friends in the DAS community, a lot of people, and myself included, this is kind of like the final straw on why they changed so much on DAS. Yes, it was being abused, but it wasn't abused by the real people who need this. Disney changed this and blamed this all on the disability community and the people who are abusing this. The disability community is blaming it on Disney and the people who abuse this. Please don't lump in the people who really needed this. But anyway, I digress. I did not want to get off on a tangent today. But you can see why Disney changed the DAS rules. A lot of DAS was taking up space on and that line. They can see how many people have purchased the Lightning Lane for that day prior to their visit, and then they can tell how many people are going to be in the park that day and how many slots they still have to sell. So Disney now has more control over how many spots they sell in that Lightning Lane. When you had DAS customers taking up space in the Lightning Lane, whether they were abusing it or truly needed it, you couldn't control how many people were going to use it that day. So you didn't know if 100 people who have the DAS pass were going to go through Lightning Lane or 1,000 people that day. That's a big number for Disney. Disney can now sell 900 of those slots knowing that only 1% of the population now has the DAS pass because of these DAS changes. So Disney can now control how many people are in that Lightning Lane, and they will know in advance to see how it's going to run. They will know how many slots they now have to sell the day of the park opening. I hope I'm explaining that well. It's basically Disney's way of understanding how the Lightning Lane is going to work, how many slots they have to sell that day, how many people have already paid for it, versus not knowing when you would have DAS customers or DAS pass holders who would just end up showing up at the park that day and they didn't have to do anything in pre-selection. So it's basically a way for Disney to control the Lightning Lane situation. We're hearing reports over at Disneyland, and unfortunately, this is only like 2 or 3 days. They're saying how much quicker the regular queue is over at Disneyland. Just when people, regular guest queue, not single rider, whatever you want to call it, is moving a little faster. They're taking that and saying, oh, that's because DAS customers aren't taking up Lightning Lane space. And it was for 2 days. You can't judge Disneyland and ride times and wait times by 2 days. So please get more data before you start throwing these things out like, oh, Disney getting rid of all these DAS customers sped up the lines. We have not seen that at Disney World. In fact, Epcot's longer, but coincidentally, that's because Test Track went down. So of course, all the other lines are going to take more people in. So lines are moving slower. At Disney World, we've been watching the times for the last month, and they're almost exactly the same. So please, more data before we figure this all out. I don't want to rip on anybody. I think Disney's trying to do a middle person's job of trying to figure out how to make the disability community happy and make their paying guests who pay for Lightning Lane happy also. There is a dichotomy between those two that has to be figured out. It has to work with the disability community to come up with a better DAS Pass solution. That's all I'm going to say on that. Other than that, thanks everybody for listening to me ramble today. I don't know what this is. Maybe I'll pull out the chickens again. Maybe I won't. Until then, hit like, hit subscribe, all that other good stuff. We'll be back next week. New interview coming up. Appreciate everybody. That's all, folks.